10 board members present. Has somebody got those names down?
We will start
Tommy,
now.
can you just send me the list
Yeah,
of the participants at the end of the meeting like you did last time?
Absolutely will, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect.
Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the agenda for today?
I can share that with us. I do have it up right now.
If you have not already seen it.
Everyone can see the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
We need a motion to accept the agenda.
I make a motion.
I second it.
Sorry,
All
who
in
is the
favor?
second?
Did you get the second?
Ryan and Sal.
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. And then do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
That's coming up next. Approval of minutes. Has anybody revisited those minutes, or do we need to post those, Tommy?
I'll have to find those. I didn't get
Sure.
those.
I'll send them real quick. I got
Okay.
'em.
Okay, April 9th, it was yeah, it was an online as well. It was called to order at 9:03 a.m.
Tommy, they should be in your email in just a minute.
All right.
Morning, Jason.
Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
Good morning, everybody.
There they are.
It's just starting.
Take a minute to review those. It had the, we discussed the discussion for the Washington travel for Jason. Then we moved into treasurer's report. Some flexibility with Little America, which I'm sure we'll be talking again today. Delayed decision towards the end of that. And of course, postponing purchases, decorations, which I think everybody's so tired of having everything on hold. Hopefully today, we get a little farther with that and not have to be doing that. So after you review those, can we get a motion to accept last month's minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as shown on the screen.
Josh makes a motion. Who was the second?
It was me, Shannon.
Excellent.
Okay.
All in favor of approving those minutes?
Aye.
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 Good. So moving on to the treasurer's report.
You should be seeing the treasurer's report now on the screen.
We do?
Currently, as of today, we are at $22,614 and 92 cents, not 962. Pending payments is $16,225. That is in refunds for this conference. If we do make the decision today, make the vote to cancel the physical conference, no payments, no paying deposits left. With the cancellation of the conference, we need to make a refund of those members who have already paid. All invoices that have not been paid will be canceled. Checks that have been sent in that have not been deposited will be returned to those districts. Total amount to refund as of today is $16,255. That will leave a balance in the checking account of $6,389.92 to carry over to next fiscal year. I'm going to try to use bill pay through Wells Fargo to do the refunds, so I'm not having to physically write all the checks. But we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully, refunds will be out they'll have them all received by June 30th. So for this fiscal year, everything doesn't cause any issues with purchasing departments. Deposits made to Little America, we will find out if we can carry over the 21 conference. I believe we can. Deposits made to top youth speakers, we did a 50% deposit. That should carry over to 2021. And then the last thing was Zoom for TAA as a discussion. If we decide to go with a virtual conference, does TAA go ahead and purchase the business plan through Zoom? The business plan is $199 a month per host. We can have up to 10 hosts, or $1,900 annually. This will allow up to 300 participants. There's a webinar option that we can purchase that is another $1,400 on top of the $2,000. I'm requesting a motion from the board to move forward with purchasing a Zoom account. We can do a monthly instead of the annual. We can push this off until we decide if we're doing the virtual conference, and then just do that monthly payment for a one-time. I did purchase for my own personal use the Zoom account every month with the call-in stuff. So for our region meetings or for board meetings, if we want to continue to do that this way as well, we do have that. It also gives us the option to post any Zoom meeting like the one we're doing now. We can post it live and stream it on Facebook to our page, the TAA page, or we can also create a YouTube channel. For those that want to do Facebook, we can create a YouTube channel for TAA, and we would be able to live stream it directly to YouTube as well. So I have no problems using that for my personal one for us. It's not a big deal. But if we're going to go with a virtual conference, I think we're going to need that 300 member participant number, and then giving more hosts. That way, one person doesn't have to sit the whole time to run a meeting. We can turn our hosting over to someone else, and we could kind of rotate it around. I did mute everyone, so if you have questions or comments, go ahead and unmute yourself to talk.
And raise your hand. So I'll just add to that. I did have conversations with Stephanie at the Trust last week, just to kind of, gauge some thoughts on that, because I know that they are, I think, two of the ladies are, were already hesitant in attending the conference if we were going to, go ahead and go forward with it. Obviously, I think first and foremost, we probably still need a vote just to cancel the conference, but also they are willing to allow us to use their transportation, the trust transportation Zoom account, as well as the actual trust account that they have for webinars. So as we start to look into what does the virtual day or virtual 2-day conference look like, my thought was that we could potentially be able to offer 2 or 3 classes at a time that people could attend. Just like we normally do for a breakout session, maybe have some sort of, main general session. I think, Tommy, you agreed that you and, I'm sorry, drawing a blank on the lady that was going to join you, but
Megan.
Yeah, Megan could do, their keynote speak or their keynote in that time. And then what we would do is we would just have meetings and meeting links in the agenda, if you will. Do you have a copy of the agenda that I sent you of what that might look like that you could pull up there? I was just throwing some things and ideas together. And obviously, we don't necessarily have to all travel either to all come to one place. So like if I'm going to host a meeting or Josh is going to host a meeting, we can still do that. And then people just sign up to that link and they attend the class. And then we just give enough time to break away. So I guess going back to the treasurer piece, of if we have our own Zoom, we have a couple of other options for Zoom platforms as well. I have one through the school district that I could probably use as well for the conference. But I think that it's, we've been trying to push this for a couple of years now, and I think that there's some big benefits in, what we're wanting to promote going forward after all of this pandemic is over. I think our region meetings might might look a little bit better and maybe be a little bit better well attended, rather than requiring people to have to travel, an hour or two to get to a mini conference and, or cancel last minute because of shortages in the office.
I like the idea.
With the virtual, going back to the discussion on the virtual? Or the whole Zoom?
Well, can we address the motion? We can table the motion if we need to, and then close out treasurer's report, and then we can go on to discussing that piece. So I'm fine if if we wanted, as a board, we table the TAA purchasing a Zoom for right now, and we can always bring it back at another time.
That's what I do.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as provided on May 15th.
Does that
I'll
include with the Zoom, or you're just approving the finance?
Approving the report, the finance report as provided.
Without the purchase of the Zoom?
Without the we'll table the purchase. We'll table the discussion of the purchase of the Zoom until later in this meeting.
Correct.
I second that.
Motion's been made to accept it with tabling the Zoom account portion of the treasurer's report, seconded by Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There it is. Hey, Tommy, on the discussion of treasurer's report, do you have anything to address on the IRS response part of that?
I have not heard anything back. We have not received anything in the mail from them yet, and I have not heard anything back from Jay if he has heard anything yet.
Okay.
So I don't have anything to update on that at
So we're
this
still
time.
needing feedback on that.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay.
And Jason, I'm trying to find that email. There it is, right
I'm
there.
getting You
Found
got
it.
it? Okay.
Got it.
Do you want to post that now and take a look at it, since we're moving more to the considering cancellation and going virtual or not? Or
It should be loading right now. The screen's still shared, so it should be loading for everyone to see in just a second here.
Yeah, I'd like to just add, if we're going to switch gears to that, I think that's what most people are here kind of watching that aren't part of the board. I think that we were hopeful in, our early discussions that, what this would look like, a lot of speculation. We've already received numerous emails about people either being recommended not to travel. I think the governor has put out a unnecessary, or non-essential travel kind of recommendation to school districts that if they didn't need to. So I've personally received several emails from people asking about refunds and whatnot, and I just think that,
correct.
Because even our own districts haven't made the solid determination for us to be able to return back to a regular schedule at work. For our full-time staff, our hourly staff, I think that we just need to go ahead and make the motion to go ahead and cancel the physical conference in Flagstaff at Little America and change or divert our efforts into a virtual 1 or 2 day model, whatever that looks like, for the same week. We could pick a couple days, or a day that works for everybody, and then go from there.
Yep. I would agree with that, but I almost see the online model being more of something that gets developed as we get more information for school districts, and maybe being, instead of smaller individual classes on wheelchairs or whatever it is, maybe more focusing on what the startup of school would look like once we know what the governor and you know what I'm saying, maybe in conjunction with the trust or something, like you said. But I think everyone's going to be curious to know what other districts are doing as it relates to that, more so than the typical classes that we have.
Yeah, and I think there's in that first section that I had on the agenda. Tommy, do you have it up there yet?
Well, the one that I opened was actually the.
Can I share screen?
I should be able to give you those rights. Hang on one second here, Jason. I just made you a co-host, so you should have all the rights to share your screen as well, and I'll stop share on mine.
So I have the agenda here.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead and mute everybody again.
Yeah, I gotta get back to it.
that's the page that I.
Can you see this now?
There it is.
Everybody
Yes,
see
we
this?
can.
Okay.
Mhm.
So my
And
thought
that was
was,
the one that I assumed you were speaking of.
yeah, my thought was that, we could have some breakout sessions like a Let's Talk administrators for just administrators to go into and talk to. We could do one for support staff. So those, the dispatchers, routers, trainers, all the people, same thing for fleet staff. There could be several. My thought was that, I really liked how in the past when we've done these let's talk sessions that we kind of had a guided, PowerPoint that kept people on topic because we could bunny trail forever and speculate
Right.
forever. So
Yes,
I think
down
that
task.
these would have to be whoever's hosting the meeting would kind of be the mediator for the meeting. And then we would just, you can spend an hour and a half if you wanted. We could do 2 sessions on it. It really didn't matter. I was just trying to kind of come up with an idea of what I thought content would be as far as beneficial and what that might look like. And then we would just have the meeting links provided with the agenda, and then people could just pick and choose what they wanted to do. So, I was kind of throwing out some ideas like day of the conference, we would all have our red shirts on so that we still at least be able to acknowledge who is and who is and who isn't a board member, et cetera. So, still kind of give that feel and the vibe of the conference. It just would be in this manner that we're currently doing right now. So
I looked this over. I really liked the feel of this, Jason. I thought this was a great idea because it kept some similarities and consistencies with what our physical conference looked like.
Correct.
I really did like that. I have no problem with that. I thought this was a great idea. I think it's something we can definitely expand upon.
I agree with that also. I do, in listening to what Josh was saying though, are we wanting to try to host the same week with this, starting Tuesday, June 23rd, or are we wanting to move later into the middle, and I'm just throwing this out there, middle or end of July, as things change with COVID-19 and districts change and gear up and maybe know better what they're doing. Was I hearing Josh correct on that?
What I was, it says I'm muted by the host. Can you guys hear me?
yes, we
Yes.
can
Yeah, I
hear you.
can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I'm unmuted. Perfect. I think if we have the technology, I think what I was envisioning more is as things get closer to school starting or school staying online, and maybe we don't start till September, or who knows what they're going to decide, that we continue to use the tools to get information out, because that's where everyone's going to want to know what everyone else is doing. So,
Okay.
are you envisioning this just a gratis, free conference this year? I'm assuming, right? No registrations, just log in to whatever Zoom meeting you want.
The feedback that was provided was basically, do we want to do something for the greater good, or do we want to be jerks? And I think that was provided by Stephanie, just in the same realm in that conversation that I was having. And I think that there's this really, because we don't know how perfect it's going to be, for one, there's a lot of uncertainty for two, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to maybe, kind of toot our own horns, if you will, and just grow our platform and grow our organization. So by doing this in kind of a freebie manner, and just it gives people a little bit of a tickle also, that they can see what this organization is about without having to attend Flagstaff, and then go, you know what, I that was really a lot of value, and I'd like to really see what it looks like in physical presence, for 2021, hopefully. So
Excellent.
I would like to throw a little bit in there. Jason and I've kind of talked about it back and forth. I would like to maybe discuss still asking for membership fees for the association. Throw that out for people to discuss. Instead of a full conference of the $350, $375, we ask that they still And you know, if we offer the conference, you know, we're not going to be able to pull out if they've paid their membership. No, we're not going to let you in. But just to keep our organization going, I would like to see if we could discuss maybe membership fees for the year from everyone.
I agree. I think we should keep consistent. And I also am really liking what I'm hearing about an opportunity for our further out transportation departments to be a part of it, even if it's virtual.
Yes.
That
Hey,
excites me a lot because we have so many down here. We have Tombstone, Bisbee that just can't afford to make it.
well, I think having something with a registration still to where we keep our annual fees up for members, correct, Tommy?
That's what I'm just
Reaching
asking if we
out
could
to.
still pay for our annual fees.
Right.
We could ask them to pay. I don't know if we could require them to pay, because if we're going to offer this, and I like Jason's idea, you know, a free conference. I totally get that. With everything going on, it makes perfect sense. But I just still I don't want to get too scared that we're carrying such a little amount. When we're going to do this, what things else are we going to need that we're going to need to pay for
Right.
to help out if we had some kind of something coming in still?
Well, and I'm sure people want to continue paying their memberships to be a part of TAA. That people are going to want to keep doing that. So next year when conference comes around, they're still in line. They're receiving, emails or acting on emails to register. So I agree with that. That'll work.
Yeah, I think the only that as we discuss that, there's separation between how we limit, or both our organization as well as AAPT, kind of wrap the membership dues into an event. Whereas if you look at ASBO, they have that membership kind of locked down so that if you're not current on your dues, you can't get into some of the extra content that they provide. So I guess my only thought, and I'm just speaking from my district, if I was to go and say, hey, I need my 4 people that we're going to attend, the conference is going to be canceled and moved to a virtual model, but I still need $50 per person to pay for their membership dues. I don't know that my district is going to approve those funds to be paid because there's already a free option that they're receiving. Does that make sense?
To watch.
So I'm just like, I really, trust me, this has been one of the kind of things weighing on me is that, everything that we've been kind of planning for before COVID-19 happened was to set ourselves up to kind of be able to make some of these bigger financial lifts that we've been trying to do to promote and grow our organization. And now that we're not being able to do that, it really just tables it for a year. And what does that look like, right? What deposits are we going to lose? What financial impact is it going to have on us going, because we still have continued fees and things that we have to pay for. And so it really just, we take 3 steps backwards to where when I first came in, now we're relying on our big 3 to help us, pay their deposits early so we can generate some revenue before registrations start. It's just, I'm very conflicted in both. And maybe we can do this for those districts that have already paid. Can we just refund them, less $50 and keep their membership fees since they've already technically paid it?
I think you'd have to.
Go ahead, Josh.
I think it's in good faith. So you guys are getting lots of feedback.
Mute your computer, Shannon.
Oops.
Yeah,
Now
you
we
have to
can't-
mute
Okay.
your computer, but unmute your phone, Shannon, so we can hear you talk. There you go. We should hear you now.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think that paying the membership fee is the right thing to do for consistency according
I do
to our bylaws and rules. I think it's it is going to be kind of on a honor system, because like you said, they can hop in whether they pay it or not. But the membership fee for the annual participation, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that we need to keep that to go forward because this was unexpected.
Tommy,
I agree with that.
If you, back to your treasure report, Tommy, if you refund all the vendor money and all of our memberships that we've received so far, how much does that leave in our account? And is that enough to operate for 12 more months?
If I refund everything, it leaves $6,832. I think it was the number. I'll pull up again. About $6,800 will be left in our account for until we start doing next year's conference and start taking more income in.
And that's without paying for a Zoom account and all of
Correct.
that. If we pay for a Zoom, we're down another 3. Was that what I heard? Basically,
Correct. Yeah, it'll be about 3,000. That'll drop us about 3,800.
But if we can use
And
the
who
trust
knows,
Zoom
like you
account,
mentioned,
Correct.
what expenses they'll be.
What's that, Shannon? I'm sorry.
No, I just think that even if it's virtual and it's low cost, there's bound to be additional expenses for, who knows what. Little things, but we need to have some funds there.
I also think that though it's going to be kind of a financial nightmare for Tommy to refund money and then try to collect money. And then if
Again.
we're publicly posting the virtual meeting rooms, that there'll be some people that are upset that they paid, but other people didn't. You know how that is, Tommy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It was just an idea that I've thrown out. Jason and I talked about, because I just don't want us to be, $3 in the checking account next year before conference starts. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're doing
feel
very,
you.
very
That's-
well.
Yeah.
I like it because it would theoretically cover the mini conferences as well, right? There's going to be mini conferences digitally as well, right?
Well, and like I said, I don't mind using my personal account. Like, we're using my personal account right now, and I can have up to, I think it's 100 people in it, and then I can make anyone a host or a co-host. So like Jason is now a co-host. He's running kind of everything on the screen. I'm not doing much of anything. So for our region meetings, stuff like that, and our board meeting, I don't mind using my own personal account. That's cheap, nothing. But if we were going to do the big virtual conference on us without the trust involved, it would be the 2,000 plus another 1,400 do a webinar type. But if the trust is going to allow us to use their format and their platform, I'm okay with the 6,800 staying in our account.
We just need to make a formal ask to them to use it, and I'm thinking
Correct.
that would be their support level to help us kind of promote that. And then between mine and yours, and even I know Shannon has a Zoom account through Kyrene. I don't know. I'd have to see what our limits are, but we've had up to about 50 people in each one of our sessions. Now I know that the trust ladies have been getting a lot of reach from what they've been putting out. So I'd hate to not have those opportunities, and we don't have to go through and put 3 classes together. We could do the Let's Talk sessions and 2 breakouts per day. If we want to do multiple days, we can just do one day and just be like, that's it. That's it. In conjunction with what Josh was saying, and say, okay, maybe we do our conference day, virtual conference day, the week of at some point where we would have had the conference, and then maybe do another one, right after 4th of July for another administrative Let's Talk, and then another one, another week or 2 after, that people can connect. And really, as we start ramping up, when you look at, Josh, when's your first day? July 20th or something like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Supposedly.
So you got, I'm just saying you're gonna kind of be the that trailblazer for the rest of us, because we're gonna be kind of looking to Higley, at least in the East Valley, trying to figure out what you guys are gonna do and what that looks like. So
Doesn't Chandler start like July 6th or something? I mean, they're the earliest.
They're like a few days before us.
Yeah.
But,
So
what was the trust? How are they going to sponsor us this year anyway? And the reason I ask is, would the trust be open to purchasing the 1-year license for TAA and that be their contribution for the year? And then that opens us up to do all of our.
it's not a bad idea to ask the trust and our big 3, if they'll all put in to pay for. Because there's a higher level also of that was the business. There's an enterprise one that's even more, that gives us more options to do things with, and I can have up to 50 hosts.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not a bad idea. I like that idea. Josh asked if the trust would do
Yeah,
that
that's a
as their
great idea.
contribution.
I think if we could do that, then I would say we don't worry about the annual fees
Yeah.
for all the members.
If
and
we
just
can
let
get
it
that
go for
monies
a year.
through them, yeah.
Well, I will
Well,
say,
I can
I'll
draft
just,
some letters.
yeah, I would just add this in that if we're only asking them for what their contribution could or couldn't be, I don't want them to feel like they're being singled out and us not asking our other sponsors or even our, current vendor representative, right, that's sitting on the board right now. So
Could we still talk with our vendors about, advertising on our website and our Facebook page, and that, for something, we would like, your support. Thank you for supporting us for the years. This is an unprecedented year. We would like to run some ads for your company, and, asking for something to come in like that if we advertise them through. And we'll really have to push, our Facebook page and our TAA page so they can see it to get something in also, and then use that monies to purchase our own account. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, that does make sense.
Would we ask them for a specific amount, or would you like to make a donation to our virtual conference success in lieu of participating in the vendor show? We're going to advertise your brand. I don't know what we would ask them for.
I think for our virtual here, if we do go virtual, which it sounds like we're going to do, which I absolutely love the idea, asking, our sponsors, if you want to sponsor one, and I mean, we got the virtual backgrounds that we can do in most of them. It's their logo up behind, and this class is sponsored by this group also.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So why don't we take us like a small step back and vote that we are canceling the in-person.
That was exactly what I was going to get back to on the agenda. If we need an official motion, since the discussion is moving so forward on the virtual, if we do need a motion to cancel the 2020 annual conference in Flagstaff, we need to do that first.
I think we would need like a motion to cancel, a motion to refund the fees that have been paid, and then there's other things that are going to come up that need to be discussed, such as elections, if they get postponed for a year, how that'll be held, and then I guess a motion for doing a one-day virtual conference as well. So
well, yeah, I was going to actually put those at different
yeah, that's
motions.
what I'm saying is it would have to be.
There's going to be a lot of voting today.
Yes. The first one is we need a motion to cancel the 2020 annual conference in Flagstaff, June 19th, 20th through whatever days. We need to make that one first, I think. And then I think we're going to have to do some other motions separately for the other things, correct?
Yeah, we're going to have to do a motion for each of them.
I think so.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to cancel the in-person TAA 2020 annual conference in Flagstaff due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I would just add it's June 22nd to 25th. And we approve Tommy to refund any and all fees that have been paid towards that conference.
Look at that, a poll? Did you just do that?
I did that so we can count everybody's vote for this. Absolutely correct. So if you can vote on that, and it will be recorded.
How do I vote? I don't see a button.
Mouse it? I don't know. Let's see.
You should have a pop-up.
And then hit it down here.
I just did it. Did you get it?
I voted.
Yes, I have 7 votes for yes so far. So there's 11 board members in here.
I can't see the pop-up.
I don't know how to vote.
Did you get the pop-up on screen, yes or no?
No.
No.
I just got in progress, Tommy. I don't know if that's because I'm a host.
It probably is, Jason. Hang on here. Okay, now try it, Jason. Yep. See what you get.
Got it. I approve.
So I didn't get it.
We're getting fancy.
Well, there's 9 yes votes, and there's 11 board members in the meeting. So the last 2, I haven't voted.
I
Shannon
haven't,
hasn't.
I can't see it.
Shannon,
What
did
is
you
your
vote
vote?
yes or no?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. So there's the 11 board members in the
I
meeting.
vote
So it's
yes.
11-0.
11.
You
So
know, I
were
didn't
you-
even think about this, but we should have been recording this episode or this.
It has been, Jason.
Oh, sweet.
I am all
Thanks.
over that, buddy.
Okay, so we do have a motion
Yes,
and we have a second,
Yeah,
and
the
now
motion-
everybody's voted and it carries, correct?
correct.
Okay,
Impressive,
we don't-
Tommy.
So am I the okay, is mine the motion and Josh, are you the second? Because you added to it.
I just added the dates and the approval for Tommy to
Good.
refund all
So
the.
who's the second?
Shannon and
I
who
think
was
it was.
Somebody-
You could put me for that.
Okay.
okay. Motion carries.
All right, and what's nice is we'll be able to. I can add another question onto it. So what was our second vote?
Refunds.
To refund the fees.
So so we will have to have a motion, or is that part of that first one? That will be
No.
part of that first motion.
Yeah, I thought I included it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So we
right,
just
did,
so
need
you
then-
did.
What is the next option we need to vote on?
keynote reschedule.
Postpone the officer election.
Yeah,
I would make a motion that officer elections be postponed for the 2020 year and all filled positions carry over for that additional year, and voting would take place in 2021.
Was there, so just real quick on that, for discussion, was there, Josh, you and I had kind of discussed, do we need that vote right now, or do we want to be able to
That's a good point,
maybe
Jason,
have
so-
this on a separate meeting? I'm thinking after this gets, if we can post this recording up to Facebook that people can watch, or figure out how to post it that people can access it and watch it, can we have another meeting, say the Friday after Memorial Day or something like that, or even the first week of June, that opens up the floor to more of our members that are wanting to come in and just give kind of a comment period, I guess, if you will, before we do actually vote on it.
Yeah.
I know that obviously ASBO has a lot more firepower than we do. They are trying to explore a virtual voting model. I have no idea what that looks like. I just saw, something like that. I think there's two sides of it, right? I think there's the side of, will it be scrutinized that it's going to be able to be edited too easy, or, not be as transparent as our members have been asking for, so that would be my caution, in that we don't, do a virtual online voting model. And I think that there's probably still a lot of people that aren't as technically savvy that would even be able to access the conference or access the option to vote. So I don't want to take their vote away, but I also don't want to limit those that may have had their mindset on, running this year and not getting an option to do so. So just want to put that up there for discussion.
Yeah, I agree, Jason. I would think that we would post a future meeting with maybe the sole agenda item being discussing elections for TAA, and so people can log in or provide feedback, and then we do a vote at that time, whether to postpone it or try to do it virtually. I share your same concerns for virtually. Nominations would be a nightmare, speeches would be difficult, and then the voting would be
even more
the
difficult.
transparency
Right.
of it too.
Yeah.
I think that people, as you said, Jason, they want it to be transparent and fair, and so
maybe
I
between
think
now and
getting their
then,
voices
Jason
powerful.
or Mike can reach out to everyone that's currently on the board and see if they're open to extending their term one gap year in the middle.
Yeah, I think what we,
Donna's saying no.
just my thought and communication for this meeting and the outcome of it would be that a letter would go out. Obviously we do our social media posting, and then we could post up the recorded link into one of our Google Share drives that we have, and we could embed that in the email that goes out, so those people that do want to watch. And then also we could probably have a Zoom meeting scheduled so that we can include that in the email for those people that want to either provide feedback off of the email, just, hey, great job, keep it up, or, we could even put a survey link out there right in real simple that says, do you agree to postpone voting, or would you prefer to have a virtual election? Something very simple that we could, just get some sort of general feedback from, have a meeting, have some opportunity for comments to reply, and then vote at that time. It doesn't have to be a super long meeting.
I agree. It has to be the voice of the membership for sure.
Yeah, so then I'll rescind my motion for extending
Okay.
the terms for a year and recommend that we post a meeting in the future to discuss board positions for the gap year.
Got it.
Perfect.
And that doesn't need a motion. That's just a recommendation to have a meeting. We set a meeting date.
Correct.
Send out a letter and email.
So I do think there needs to be some sort of motion that probably needs to suspend certain bylaws.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure what all of those are, but I would say the first one to be, I don't know that it needs to be suspended because we're still going to kind of have an annual conference. So I
Right.
don't know that the verbiage says an annual in-person conference, but there's probably some other verbiage in there that needs to be looked at as far as what needs to be suspended. Tommy, do you know kind of off the top of your head?
Honestly, I don't, and I think that's going to be if we held like an executive session meeting where we went through the bylaws and we read what was going to need, and then we could hold a meeting with what we knew needed to be suspended, where we get the board back together to vote on suspension. We could also discuss the executive, or not the executive, the officer position, how it wants to work, and we could bring it back to that meeting for everyone, a full TAA meeting without the executive, so we could explain what we wanted, what was going to happen, what needed to happen. And then everything can just be done at one time. But I think executive board may want to meet with the inclusion of asking Josh to join us, because he's done this before with an older conference.
Sounds
One of
good.
our past conference, so we can lean on that knowledge that's there. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I think maybe if that meeting can happen right before or within a few days of the actual one that will extend to membership to voice their concerns about the elections, maybe that's just the topic of it'll be elections as well as bylaw suspensions.
Right, and we don't even have to have it as an executive meeting. We could just do a like our governing board, a study session where there's nothing
Like a work
voted on.
session.
It's just all discussed. So we have a plan in place. So when we do hold that next meeting, when we call it, we know what we want to talk about, what we would like to present to our members to discuss for those that are there. Yeah.
So it looks like in the bylaws, it just says there shall be an annual conference for general membership. So, I mean, I think online would be fine. The only thing I read through really quick is it does say, find it real quick. I believe it said annual dues are due, something like that. So if
could be a suspension of dues.
Right.
Yeah, we could do a
suspension
of dues for the 2020 fiscal year, conference fiscal year, and then reinstate for the 2021 one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We could do that. And I think a study session, if we all got together as a study session, just talk this out without votes, and it's not the formal side of it like this, we'll be able to come back to a formal full TA meeting with what we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in regards to the discussion of voting, that next line under that, Josh says, the right to vote, hold office, or to have a voice in the discussion on the floor of the conference shall be limited to members whose dues are paid. So definitely a work session on talking about discussion of dues paid, who's eligible to vote, who's eligible to run, all of those things.
And then how are you going to monitor that in this platform?
Well, they'll have, one way is definitely suspend everything until 2021.
Well, I think one of the things that you can, maybe in a different positive light for that is that instead of suspending their, dues that are owed, we just say your dues is going to be extended 1 extra year. So that way it sounds like they're getting something additional for no cost, no additional
Sounds
cost.
good.
And then that way it still falls within the member or the bylaws that they have that opportunity to have a voice in what is
And the
happening.
voting rights.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and
I
with
mean,
the-
I don't think there's gonna. I mean, I'm gonna say just my personal opinion. I think that we just extend it, but to have people have an opportunity to just come to us and make a comment, whether they like it or don't, at least we can still hear them out.
and this
Right.
the
For
polling
sure,
option.
everybody has to be heard.
The polling option that comes with it, like we just did, it will record the names that are voting also. So,
Oh,
I mean, we would
okay.
also be able to see who's actually voting.
Got it.
Or we could do anonymous. It doesn't matter. We could do either way. I don't mind anonymous either, but it's something that we can discuss to move forward with the elections and office positions. Yeah.
So do we want to set a date for a study session?
Sure.
Jason had said something about June, or Tommy said something about June.
I think study session probably needs to be a little bit sooner than that. Maybe that week right after Memorial Day. If we could do maybe the 20, like the 29th, 28th or 29th, something like that. And then maybe then the next meeting could be the 5th, June. Is that June 5th? Our actual board meeting, June 5th.
Yeah, Friday,
Um,
June 5th, and then, oh, come on. And then May 29th?
I'm good with the 29th for a study session, but the 5th I would not be able to do.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to extend a week. I don't really care what day it is. I'll make it work either way. So
I know I'm available the week after Labor Day. It's a week after that I won't be available because I'll be driving back. So
Okay. Well, does everybody like the 29th then as the work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tommy, when do you get back?
I plan on being back to work or the 8th or the 9th.
So could we do just like our meeting on the 8th? Would that work for everybody?
Yes.
All right. I'm putting it on the calendar now so I can get the invitations out and then with the meetings and everything.
Okay, so
Can you
backing
guys
up
hear
on,
me?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't make the 29th, but it sounds like I'm the only one who can't. So obviously that's fine, just letting you know.
Okay.
Just
And
call in
Shannon,
from
again,
Woods
we're going
Canyon.
to, what we can do with the study session is we can run it live on our TAA Facebook page, and it doesn't take much and doesn't charge, it doesn't cost anything to do a YouTube page, an account for us either.
We
So
can
we can
watch
always
it.
do it and then run a live meeting on both of those or on YouTube, where you can't attend it, but you can at least hear it if you're available, or you can go back and watch it later when you can, either one.
I'll try to call in. If I have service, I'll be there.
Tommy,
That's if the campground's open.
yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful.
Tommy, I like that idea. Let's still pursue that. I'm thinking like every angle for everybody to try to watch, listen, chime in, whatever. So
Yep.
let's try to do that.
So
Do
I
we
put
need
the
to-
29th for a study session. I put 9 a.m. I'll send an email I'll look at times a little better for everyone. And
Okay.
then I added June 8th as a TAA board meeting. So I'll get those put together, send the invite out so we can get them pushed out as well.
Do we need any motions for those? We're just setting those dates, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't think we need any motion.
Okay, Josh rescinded his motion on board election, so we're good there.
Correct.
Are we ready to move to take a motion for virtual conference now? Two motions, actually, one for virtual conference and then one to address or not address, to ask the trust for their support or their use. Two motions we need to discuss.
Oh no, where'd it go?
You're still
So
there?
I'm not I don't think we have to make a motion to ask the trust for their support, right?
We just need to inquire.
We can just maybe send them a letter or an email. Is that right?
Yeah.
Someone? Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can
only
just
need a
send.
motion
Go ahead, Shannon.
for the virtual conference.
I feel like there were
Correct.
other things that Josh had brought up before we were going to vote on that.
So
On-
the first motion, okay, let me just go back. It says a motion to cancel the 2020 annual in-person conference in Flagstaff, June 22nd through the 25th. However, it also, I just lost my place. It also includes to refund fees of membership. So sorry, okay, that's all that was in there.
That was all done in the first one.
Okay.
Correct.
I don't
And
know that I don't know that at this time we can vote or make a motion on the virtual conference until we have a date or series of dates. Maybe we just explore it. I'm not sure how we would. I mean,
because it wouldn't be a system.
is it going to be a 1 day or a 2 day? Are we going to charge the membership fees? I guess that's the other thing we need to figure out is membership dues. So I don't know if that all needs to be done with your executive meeting and we just kind of leave where we're at today, that we cancel the conference and it's been voted and approved and we're working diligently on coming up with a virtual conference, or something like that.
Is that something that can be discussed on our May 29th of how that would look on the virtual? Or is that too late?
I think that would work, and maybe we would have an answer from the trust or, because that's a piece of it as well. I mean, Higley has probably the same account that you guys do, where I can do up to 100 people, like for a class for me or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, their free used to be, I think it was 50 people and you only got 40 minutes a day, but they bumped their free went up to 100 people with no time limit. The paid one, you get that, but you get like the polling and you get the phone call in where you can call in with a phone. You can still see it on your computer, but you can call in with your phone. So there's a few other things we can do with that paid subscription. But we don't know how long this free subscription from Zoom is going to last with this, 24-hour length of a meeting and 100 people. We don't know how much longer that's going to last. If the economies are going to start opening up again, business may say, okay, all those freebies we were giving you, we're done with. They're going away.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah. So what I have is for our study session, talking about dues, voting, elections, the officer positions, requesting for the trust to use their platform. And then what the virtual meeting would look like. Is that correct?
Yeah, specific for the virtual conference alternative.
Should we request Stephanie to be in attendance for that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
So
can
I
do
think
that, yeah.
just as a board, when we send out the cancellation, Jason or whoever does it, Tommy, we should also remind them to cancel their hotel reservations as well.
Yes.
Just as a
Yeah. What I'll do is I think Shannon's a pretty good writer, so I'll draft something and let her go through and review it, and then
Shannon will be voluntold to do it.
Yeah, and then Mike, Mike, you can review it, and then we'll get it up there. Hopefully, I could start getting them out there by tomorrow.
Okay.
If assuming Shannon has some time to review today, and then just keep in mind that it will be emails sent over the course of the next 3 or 4 days, just because we only can send 200 emails a day.
I think that's perfectly acceptable.
And then Jason, can we get an email drafted to send up to conference to Little America, let them know that we are canceling? And we'll
Yep.
get that. Can we get that today?
And I think, yeah, I'll draft the email and then maybe I just, should we do it as a letter, an actual letter
I
that
think
goes as an attachment with, I don't know if Mike, are you at home or are you working?
I'm at home, but I've got capabilities to do whatever you need.
Well, I think we'll send an email just to, give them the heads up, and
I
then
think
maybe
so.
just a formal letter. We'll just let them know a formal letter will follow. I think
With
that
Mike's
would just,
signature. Yep.
yeah, I just think that would put us in a professional, good
Yes.
place. So
Sounds good.
Agree.
Agree.
Also, I spoke yesterday to both of our Dave Rindahl as well as Jesse Funk. Dave is more than willing to, be rescheduled for the following summer, and Jesse's assistant, I just said, could the deposit that you received be applied for next year? And she said, once you make your final decision and vote tomorrow, let us know. We'll do our best to work with you. So I don't anticipate any issues with either of them.
Excellent. So we're good there on our keynotes on our agenda. You've got that covered. I did see those emails yesterday, Shannon. That sounds good
Yes.
since it's all in order. Okay. Conference, all the emails, the trust get involved. Okay. Are you caught up on all that, Shannon?
Yeah.
Okay. So then moving on your agenda or on the agenda, one of the things up for discussion also was the TAA board retreat. You want to spend a minute discussing that?
yeah, so I just had an idea and kind of bounced it around with a few of you guys kind of offline, but I think it's, if we're all comfortable and able, and we could even do a portion of Zoom for those that didn't want to travel, but I think there's since we always ramp, we're always kind of go through the summer, and we never really have an opportunity through the year to sit down and kind of spend time on just development of the organization, right? And so I think that, we're all stressed to get back to our district because we have to drive or we have to cover or whatever. And so my thought was, could we spend a full day or 2 days together just in a setting where we can really go through and kind of game plan what the organization, our goals for the organization should look like for the next 5 years or so, and just what does that look like from a business model, what does that look like from our reach and the way that we want to grow, partnering, we've had kind of some loose conversations about joining forces with another organization and coming together to maybe do some type of merge and just change the feel, right? So that way we're both doing the same thing, but maybe getting those groups together to have that conversation, maybe really going over and creating like a letterhead and some of our email signatures and just things that really professionalize us that we can put all in a one place. And that way, as new presidents come in, it's like, hey, here's the login, and here's all the files that you need virtually, here's everything that you need virtually. And it just, I think, as I look back coming out of this, it would all be nice things that would have been really helpful to an incoming president to help make them successful and keep the organization moving forward.
I like that. Development and growth with all those things. I like that. Now, would we set that, ordinarily, we could set that up right after conference?
We could. I just know how tired everybody is, and we're all anxious to get on to whatever our vacation is that we have planned, etc. So it's just hard time, and I think at this time, I mean, it would be great. I would gladly do a decompress day where we all kind of just celebrate each other and have a little bit of work in the background just to close it up before we actually do go into those vacations and spend the rest of the summer and gearing up for the year.
Right.
But my other thought was, my other thought was that, just kind of at that point, game planning what days our region conference is going to be and all that stuff. So we just basically build our whole calendar out and then we commit to it, right? This is what we're going to do. And I think there's power in having the, with Zoom coming in, that if we don't have to have an actual on-site conference somewhere, and now we have the capabilities to do it in a virtual setting, you know, it's going to make us a lot more, you know, or have that ability to be able to connect with the, you know, a calendar date. And so if we're planning in June and we say, okay, we're going to do region conferences in October and maybe December, and then in you know, February or something like that, we're going to do a series of Zooms. And what does our topic look like going forward, right? Or something like that. And then we as leaders as the executive board can help guide the region representatives, you know, to pull them along and go, hey, here's how I'm going to help you. I'll show you how to do the Zoom, or we'll help you build the content that we want you to put out there for the meeting.
I like that. Do we need a motion for that to do that?
I
Or
don't
do we
think
want to
so.
just put that on the calendar and discuss calendar days and say, yeah, let's just start doing this as part of our vision or part of our agenda?
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion for just to conduct basically a reflection and planning meeting.
Right.
We just have to, like you said, commit to the time and then prepare an agenda for that meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, AAPT does, you know, kind of a similar thing in the summer where they come together for 2 days and they spend time planning their rodeo and fall conference. And so there is still voting rights that they have, and are able to make, you know, because they do have a quorum and they, you know, kind of call a formal meeting. But offline, they're able to, you know, just come together and just, you know, they have meals together, or they go do something fun and just, you know, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what everything's going to be available. You know,
Right.
if it's at somebody's home and we, you know, just kind of grill and barbecue and graze through the day and just, you know, get some work done that really, you know, I think that I don't want this to be my, you know, the Jason show, right? And so I've been adding my feel to it and some of the things that have been helpful for us, but also just that collaborative effort from everybody to go, you know what, we're missing X, Y, and Z. And then we just spend some time, we break into a little work group and it's like, okay, Mike and Josh, you guys go over and maybe there's like a, you know, a president, incoming president or something sort of mentorship, right? Okay, I'm going to, you know, take you under my wing and show you what I do. So that way it's not just on August, you know, your August or September meeting as a president. Just think about it. I mean, you know, your first meeting, you're like, okay, what do I do now, right?
Yeah.
And so same thing with the region reps, right? A region rep training where they come in and it's like, okay, this is what you're going to do and this is how we're going to support you, but this is also what we expect from you, right? So, you know, I think there's some, as we try to grow this organization and really stand above the rest on how we support this industry in the state, there has to be some sort of structure, right? So that way we just can kind of revert back to and say, this is what we want it to look like. And then hopefully as incoming leaders come in or are elected, they share that same vision with us to continue to, you know, benefit the state.
I think the consistency of that too is going to offer some of the transparency to the membership that they've been asking for.
Okay.
Anybody else have thoughts?
I think it's a great idea to create our brand. I mean, we all know what TAA is. Most people out there know what TAA is in the industry, but we don't really have a brand for ourselves yet. And I think that's what we're going to need to move forward. And I think where we are right now in the situation, everything that we've been put in, I think is the best time to do it. We're learning the Zoom thing. And I think if we can take this and launch into it with regional meetings and our board meetings like this, so we're not taking time away from our full office to do all this kind of stuff. I think it's I think the little retreat thing would be absolutely amazing, where we can start that, and it's something we discuss year after year to keep going with. I love the mentor idea too. I love the mentor training part of it as well.
We need that.
Because if we don't start doing that, Josh is going to be on this board for like the next 60 years because he's been on it for the last 30.
All right, Josh.
We'll never let him off.
Never. Do we want to look at a date for retreat then? Do we want to try
I'm
to
pretty much
plan a
open
date?
all summer with no conference and
Yeah.
no nothing going on. So whatever you guys want to plan and.
Well, we all had
Should
that
we
week off
ask
for
them?
vacation anyway for conference, so
Right.
somewhere
Well,
within
that was
like a
my thought.
weekend.
Was like, could we do could we plan? Ideally, could we plan the virtual conference to be like Wednesday of that week, and then we all just kind of come together to really kind of decompress again from get some good valuable feedback of what the conference looked like, how it felt, what were some changes while it's fresh in our mind that we could do better for the region, the region meetings that we could do virtually going through for the year. And then, if it's just a Friday, cool. I'm happy to give up a weekend to go and have that a little bit more comfortable feel, if you will, that it's not this business, but
Right.
Like a Friday, Saturday little retreat somewhere.
yeah.
Man, I
We
would
could
love
do it floating down the Salt River all together. I'm just saying.
that.
I like
That would
it.
be so fun. So fun.
I'll go anywhere.
Saturday.
I think if we
So let's
put it on the books right now as like a tentative, that Friday, Saturday after what our conference would have been, so like June 26th, 27th.
Yeah, 26, 27.
Let's
I
put that.
I can't do that those days, but that's
Oh,
sorry.
Well, see, a
Everett-
lot of us
Everett-
also take our vacation. As soon as conference is over, we're
It's over.
gone for vacation that next week. So
Yeah.
I
right.
get that also.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sorry.
but it doesn't have to be that weekend either. It's okay.
We can move it. What about moving a week later? Right after.
Week
That's July
later is the
4th
4th
weekend.
of
Fourth.
Oh,
Weekend is fourth.
a week later is the 4th of July.
Then the campgrounds may be open by then, Jason. I'm just saying.
I've already scheduled my vacation for the last 2 weeks of June, so it would carry over into July.
Yeah.
So
So,
maybe we just, if we get the majority, it's a starting point and we can update everyone who can't make it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll still look at retreat. Right now it's June 26th, 27th after conference.
That
Right,
works.
and depending on the flexibility of, being able to go somewhere and or everyone's comfort level, right? I'm okay doing a 2-day deal, just what will our choices be?
Yeah.
Shannon's house,
I got a pool. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we can go to that
Tommy's house.
I got a pool. It's all good.
We got to go to Thatcher. We got a bed and breakfast we can stay at.
Thatcher.
I probably have the room, but no pool, and it is 100 degrees here.
Yes, but
we
it's
have
not
the space.
115.
Yeah.
Bring your trailers and fifth wheels and park them on my property.
Oh,
I gotta bring
do
the
that.
motorhome back. Gotta bring the motorhome back then.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we can talk about a location.
Okay.
That'll sound good. I'm not opposed to coming to the valley. Definitely not. We can make that work, but let's hold that date then for retreat on June 26th, 27th, okay?
Okay,
And
got it.
We'll go with that. Okay, before we start winding down, is there anything else we need to discuss?
I do have a question.
Okay,
Regarding the cancellation of the conference.
fees
I
or,
have been receiving emails regarding one way or another, and am I good to go to say this, or does it need to be put out in an open forum first?
We'll post that documentation. So as soon as we're coming out of this, we'll draft what we're gonna send out via email, and then as soon as Shannon and Mike approve, just look it over and don't want to make any of their tweaks or edits to it, we'll post it up on Facebook, and then I'll start sending it out via email. And then, so I would say by what's the Saturday, Sunday, usually takes me 3 days to send
Yeah.
it. So by Tuesday, if you want to start responding to those emails personally, you can, and just let them know to check their email. And if for some reason they say I didn't get it, try and get us a valid email address so that we can update their emails. Also encourage them to follow the Facebook page, because
the
that's the most,
website?
and the
Yes.
website.
The
So I
website.
don't, if you want, I'll just show you real quick. I'm going to pull up the website and I'll share my screen again. there is something that I put up here. Let's see here. It's on share screen. TAA. So right here on the upcoming events,
There
it's
it is.
really it's kind of a chain. So I've been putting just comments and notes here, as on the fly. It's basically a blog. So I don't have to go into the website every time to edit it. I'll just throw up, like a real quick tweet, or it's not really a tweet, but just a comment, right, that gives that feel for everybody to go back to there. So if they don't have Facebook or they're not comfortable getting on it, just have them keep checking back with the website in this green area here under upcoming events. We're always dropping new content there. It may not be updated like the welcome over here, but this portion in the green is the most valid, up-to-date information that we're throwing there.
And so,
Okay,
your
thank you.
official cancellation and all that verbiage will be on that website next week.
Yeah,
That'll help
yeah.
everybody on the board address other people as they try to find information.
Yeah, it'll go in here, and then under the president's letter, when you get back to this page here, the whole email that will go out will be in this section here under the president's message. So, and we may just change that to newsletter since Mike's not a full Nora Roberts.
There you go.
Will your email blast that goes out, Jason, include vendors?
Yes, it does. It has everybody. I basically take the email list from registration, and then I compile that with everybody who signs up for the newsletter over here on this. There's usually a newsletter option. I don't know where that is. Here, back on the home page, sign up for the newsletter. So I take that every time and I refresh it, and then I take all the duplicates out, and then I send it. So it should be vendors as long as they haven't moved. They're still valid email. So yeah, it has everybody in there.
And even though we have lots of friends and colleagues in the transportation industry here in Arizona, as I know I try to, and it really is a huge help for me, because then I don't have to remember what did I tell that person. I try to refer everybody to our website as anything that concerns TAA, the annual conference, any of that, when other colleagues are calling on me for information concerning student transportation in Arizona, I try to always refer them, especially if it's over conference issues or anything like that, to the website or anything to do with TAA. So yeah, keep doing that, everybody.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
After this is over and the meeting uploads into my system, I will upload it into our shared Google Drive. I'll just start a new folder that says virtual meetings, and I'll date it so we have that in there. So Jason, it's up to you if you want to link it to either Facebook or our website. And
yeah,
I think
it'll get the
I
content
like that
out
if
there.
we just keep pushing people to our website.
Right,
So
yes.
we can post this on the website and everything as well. That's fine.
And that fits, and that all of that fits under our agenda for next meetings, all those dates that we've already discussed, all that going to the website. So I think that fulfills our next meeting dates as far as on the agenda, correct, guys?
Right, June 8th is the next board meeting, and May 29th is study session.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so if there isn't anything else, can we move to adjourn?
Sure, I'll move
Make a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Okay.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Donna,
I'll second.
Ryan,
10:49.
Pet.
And just so you
10:49.
know, I'll miss my family reunion to spend time with you guys.
Oh, that's awesome. I was gonna do the same thing.
You didn't want to go anyway.
Family.
No, I didn't. It's a good excuse.
We're the dysfunctional family.
I really like the idea of bringing my fifth wheel to Shannon's house.
I do too.
Seriously, I have so much room, you guys.
She does have a lot of room and a pool.
And a fire pit. Yeah.
Hey, pretty
I think
close
I'm
by.
in. I think I'm
I got
in.
tetherball.
I got cornhole boards. Hey, I'll bring them. We'll just make an encampment right there.
Okay, let me just run it by my better half. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Awesome.
Whatever.
Awesome. We're gonna make it work.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have adjournment. I think we're covered, everybody, right?
Okay, and then Jason, I'll get with you this afternoon to finalize any communication.
Okay.
Excellent.
All
All
right.
righty,
Happy
thank you,
weekend,
everybody.
Take care, everyone.
you.
Take
All
care.
right,
Bye.
See
guys.
ya.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody, for
Have a good
everything.
weekend.
Everybody, yeah, stay healthy.
Be safe, all.
Don't drink too
Enjoy.
much. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
That's not happened at all. I'm just saying.
Not yet.
Bye,
Coming though.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.